some of this earlier. I was thinking, since I actually want to try, be a better, more attentive partner and not have us do normal things that normal people in relationships do. I thought I dog-eared the page. I know you hate when I do that. I might try cook, this, if you're up for it. Are you up for it? Moja lubov. You okay? I was asking about what you wanted for dinner. If you have no faith in my cooking, I suppose I don't have to. I was teasing. I'm not upset with you, I zone out a lot. Are you sure you are okay? Do you want to give your opinion on dinner? Not that hungry. Have you eaten today? Again, not getting at you. This is coming from someone who frequently has to be reminded to eat. I get quite sucked into my work and then not realize how much time has passed. But it's getting late and I know you stayed home today. I was at the lab, so I don't know if you ate lunch. You didn't eat before I left. And I didn't notice any dishes in the sink. Oh, you did have snack. That's good. I'm not patronizing you. I'm sorry if it sounded that way. It genuinely is good that you had something to eat. I'm going to put this away. Hey, can you talk to me? Well, often when one does not have an appetite, even though one should be hungry, we do need food to survive. There is a reason for it. I would like to hear it. It's clearly not nothing. Otherwise, you would be letting me cook dinner for you right now. It's not normal to not be hungry for an entire day. It is not bad of you, but... Do you feel sick? Have you been keeping food down? Is that why you're avoiding? Okay, not sick. Then, well, then I have to ask. How are you feeling? No, I know you just told me you're not sick. I did not mean physically. I meant up there. Please, talk to me. I know I am bad at taking advice from others, but I like to think I'm able to give somewhat good advice, at least on matters like this. I haven't just had problems with my physical health, I have had problems with my mental health over my life as well. I can offer understanding at the very least. It isn't nothing. Why does it feel silly to complain about it? You think it's insensitive. Why? Because you think I have worse problems. Okay. You realize that is upsetting to hear, yes? No, I'm not saying that to make you feel guilty when you already feel terrible. Listen to me. We are not in some sort of competition of who has it worse, okay? And I would hate it. Doesn't make me feel better about my pain, about my health, to hear that you do not tell me when you feel mentally sick, perhaps even physically sick, if you think the issue is less extreme than my health conditions. That you would suffer there in silence because you think... What? That I would tell you that I have it worse so you can't complain? Is that what you think I would say? You think I'm that heartless? Then... Look, I do not know what other people have told you. Maybe you've heard growing up that you have to keep silent about your problems, that you cannot complain about things because somebody else has it worse, whether that is something trivial, like perhaps the grocery store did not have your favorite brand of a certain food product. And somebody may tell you that you are not allowed to complain because there are people starving in parts of the world. Which, to be clear, I think everybody has the right to complain. And when you are complaining and upset that they did not have your favorite chocolate or whatever, which of course, eating snacks and sweets is privilege, yes. You are not trying to ignore people's struggles when you complain about trivial things. I think everybody is allowed to complain. I think if we keep all that things inside, it's not going to get any better. And you're not meaning any offense by it. There is a difference between just casually saying that and being someone in, the extreme wealth, being completely out of touch. I think complaining about little everyday problems is not being out of touch. And sometimes complaining on something small can help us not focus on the big things that are scary. And sometimes even something that may seem trivial, maybe the store not having the chocolate that you want, is just the last straw in a series of things that has gone wrong. Maybe you were having a terrible day, crying all day over things that have happened. And you thought you would go and get a little snack to cheer yourself up, and them not having it is just that final little breaking point. But that is a sidetrack. My point is, I would not judge you for complaining about something like that. But I also would not judge you for saying that, you had a little bit of the cramp in your leg. Just because your leg is not in as bad a condition as mine. Pain is pain. Yes, some people have worse pains than others. That doesn't mean if you have a little bit of pain, it is easy to live with. You may have to be on less medication or maybe no medication, and maybe it is easier to do things to ignore it, but it's still pain. No one deserves to be in pain. And even if that pain is in your brain, it did not mean, not as in, I meant in your mind. Not as in imaginary either, but is you feeling unwell mentally, or your brain saying nasty things to yourself. Or spiraling thoughts, disassociation, depression, anxiety, whatever it is. I am not going to sit here and say that extreme mental health conditions are easier to live with than physical ones. I cannot imagine what it would be like to be extremely mentally unwell. I have never had myself be in that position. I think that sounds terrifying. If I were to experience some sort of psychosis, to not be in control of my own mind, the thing that I sort of value above any other part of me, I could not imagine. And I know that is not what you are saying you are going through, but unsurprisingly, given my life, I have dealt with my fair share of depression. Now it is not as bad now as it was when I was a child. I have found things to focus on, keep me going, but I still sometimes fall back into it without wanting to. Nobody chooses to be depressed. And if that is what is going on with you, and if that is causing you to be despondent, to not want to eat, it's okay. I mean, I wish you were not going through it, and I would like to help. But it doesn't make you a bad person, or a lazy person. I've been unable to get out of bed some mornings, and I do not mean because physically I could not swing my leg out. I mean, because my brain wouldn't let me. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Having a mental health problem and no physical ailments does not make you somehow ableist to complain about or something. Which, firstly, mental health conditions, some of them, or disorders or whatever, can class you as disabled, to be clear. You do not have to have physical disability to be disabled. Mental disabilities exist. And, like I said, there is no sort of competition between it. You are not bothering me if you want to talk about it. We are both allowed to struggle. I'm not going to see you complaining as offensive. I am sorry if anyone in your life has made you feel as though any mental ailments are not worth complaining about because your legs aren't broken or something. You can be fully capable of walking or running a marathon and be incredibly mentally unwell. And the two are often tied. Bad mental health can lead to bad physical health. You can be so stressed that it causes physical pain and physical illnesses. If your brain gets to a point where it is so stressed out, it puts that stress on your body as well. People get physically sick from stress. And vice versa, if you have really poor physical health, especially to the point of maybe getting outside, getting fresh air and sunlight is difficult, it can cause you to fall into a depression. You do not always have to have both, but they can often come hand in hand. And I will not sit here and tell you that one is less important than the other. Just because you have someone in your life who you love, I hope, that is sick, does not mean that you're not allowed to be sick. That you're not allowed to complain. And I am sorry if anybody has told you that because you do not have it as bad as somebody else, whether that is a stranger, a hypothetical population, or somebody very close to you in your life, that you're not allowed to also be sick or not allowed to also complain or struggle. Because that sort of... well, it's not going to help, is it? That sort of idea is probably just going to drive you even further into a depression. Because you will feel guilty, if you're depressed. And then you feel as though you cannot talk about it, and you feel guilty for feeling depressed because you don't have it as bad as me. That guilt is just going to make you even more mentally ill and more depressed. Please believe me that you are allowed to come to me and talk to me about these things. I want to know if you are hurting in any way. Are partners not supposed to support each other? No buts. Now there is a difference, If you wanted to vent or trauma dump about something, it is polite to ask first, If you are especially talking to someone else who is mentally ill, who is going through a lot, perhaps the specific situation you want to bring up may be triggering to them. But I would, even if I said I mentally cannot handle talking about the topic right now, that does not mean shaming you, and it does not mean you then have to pretend you are not depressed. I want to know if you're hurting, even if there is nothing I can do to help. You want to know when I'm in pain, even though you are not a doctor. It's not different. When one of us is in pain, we should be able to tell the other person. We should be able to tell those who are close to us, and they should not make us feel guilty or ashamed for it. And if they do, well, they are the ones being unsupportive, being not nice. You are not in the wrong. Mental health can be debilitating. As I said, some mornings I may struggle to get out of bed because I physically cannot put weight on one of my legs. And you may struggle to get out of bed because your brain is telling you that there's no point in it. Or that there's nothing for you, or that people will not be happy to see you, or you just feel as though you cannot move. Even though physically you are not paralyzed. I have been there. And let me tell you from experience, one is not easier to cope with than the other. If anything, physical ailments can sometimes have an easier solution. Maybe not cure, but, some physical ailments do have cures and vaccines and whatnot. But, if I am having bad pain day with leg, I can use things that are heat pads, ice packs, massages given so wonderfully by yourself. I can put my brace on, use a crutch, use a cane. I cannot so easily give you some sort of aid for depression. Antidepressants exist. And I would always urge anyone with mental health problems to try and talk to someone. Therapists are out there, medication is out there. Getting a diagnosis can be helpful, but I would never tell you have to. There are all sorts of reasons why it might be not safe to go and approach a therapist, If you are queer, trans, you may not have any therapists in the area that it is safe to talk to without fear that they will discriminate against you or, God forbid, trying to detransition you. Some people from certain different minority groups are underdiagnosed. For example, the idea that the old, stupid, completely incorrect idea that doctors had that anyone who is assigned female at birth cannot be autistic, which is obviously not true, but that's what was believed for a long time. So, anybody AFAB could not get diagnosed. And some places you cannot get it for free, some places you have to pay for any sort of therapy, and you may not have the financial means to do so. But if that is the case, I would urge you to still try and talk to someone, or at the very least, there are resources out there that are free, that you can find, that you can read, that you can watch. And you've always got me. I don't know if I am much help, but you can always come listen to me ramble. If that is a comfort or a distraction. Or if you fall asleep to my voice again like you have so many times. I do not take offense. If it means you're not getting insomnia, then I suppose I am providing an aid of sorts. If you want to see it that way. You really do not have to hide from me. I promise you're not any sort of burden. You would hate it if I said that about myself. I do not care. If I am talking about physical pain, what if I were to tell you that I was struggling with depression one day? You would not dismiss me, would you? It's okay. We can be hypocrites together. Now, if you would like to tell me any details about what is going on in your brain, you can, but I will not force you. Could you do something for me, though? Do you think you could try and eat something? I do not have to cook if you're worried about that it might upset your stomach. I mean, I've been getting better, to be fair. We could do something more simple, plain. I could literally make you toast, and that would make me very happy. Here is the thing. Sometimes we are hungry, even if we do not notice it. And once we start to eat, we suddenly realize, oh, no, okay, I am very hungry. I can guarantee you that not eating and not drinking water are not making you feel better, and that they are in fact making you feel worse. And this is not a lecture. I know it can be hard to remember to eat and drink, or be able to tell when you are hungry or thirsty, or get yourself to move and do something. So I am offering to make you some food. You can stay sunk into this couch, I do not mind. You do not have to do a thing. But I guarantee that hunger and dehydration are making you feel worse. And I am not saying that therefore, if you drink a lot of water and eat, you will feel better. You could have the healthiest diet in the world and be drinking the perfect amount of water and still feel depressed, to be clear. But you will at least not feel as bad if you have a full belly and if you are hydrated. I'm not saying you will feel cured, but you will feel a bit better. Well, let me ask you this. Do you have a headache? And have you drank any water today? Yeah. You know, I have this sneaking suspicion that those two things are connected. I know you don't want to admit that you were wrong. Again, we are too alike for our own good, but let me get you some water. Let me make you some food. I know I don't have to. I want to. And do you know why? Because I love you. Ja tebja lubię. Am I clear? And what do we do for those that we love? We often like taking care of them. Even if you were not depressed, I would still offer to make you food. I'm just trying to be a kind, considerate partner. Let me get some practice in. You would be doing me a favor if you let me do this for you. Thank you. So, are you going to allow me to cook? Or do you want to see how your stomach will handle something plain, especially if you have not eaten since, I don't know when you last ate. I'm not going to force you to have something fancy. Like I said, you can just have toast if you just want to have toast. Or we can start with toast, and if you realize that you are actually hungry after all, then we can do something else. You can have seconds. If you suddenly decide that you want to eat 2 entire pizzas all on your own, I will not judge you. I will be happy that you are eating. No, I mean, we do not have 2 entire pizzas, but, you know, could get something. I can check. I don't actually know what we do have. Thank you all so much for watching, my lovelies. A reminder that I have a Patreon. If everyone who subscribed to me here gave just £1 a month on Patreon, that would help me out a lot, allow me to move out and keep making audios. Rewards of being a patron of mine include access to my Discord, ad-free streaming and downloads of my audios, 2 exclusive spicy audios every month, and the ability to leave audio requests. I also stream on Twitch most Mondays and Wednesdays, and I have an Etsy shop called Empty Masks where I sell fan art and original art. My Etsy also has stickers and other merch of my audio original characters under the Vampire Prince section of my shop. Thank you so much to my new Patreon members, my new fledglings, Demeter, Drowsy EXA, Sad Badger, Miss Zombie, Covid, Megan Payne, Addy, That Anxious MB, CG Gapses, I Goofed Up, Kuro, Rambling, Bingus Boy, Rumeru, Megan S, CO401, Blazing Lowell, Apollo, L, Shion, Quico, Lace, Ryan Scorn 3D, Froggy, Sydney Bertrand, Annalise E, Hiccup, Juzu, Kenzie.com, Cass, Jaquera Barrow, Coco, Nova, Nicole Dory, Oates, Elliot the Indivine, Leaf, Prophet, Grayson Gallop, Cassia, Morrigan, Annan, J. Davis, Ezzy, The Solar System, Beppo, Adam, Eliana Peninja, Poison Siren, Zethus, Corbu, Bree Maybe, Gogo, Luna, Arachne Created, Kieran McCarthy, Hannah Maxey, Elaine, Aral Nux, Anonymoso, Onyx Euphenia, and Star. And my new familiars, Hills VT, Period, Care Bear, Felix, Clumsy Avony, and Nyx.